Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. In today's video, we are going to be continuing Naruto Moonlight. What if Naruto was a Hyuga? Part 3. As always, if you're new to the channel or if you're a regular and you like what we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that is to come out now and in the future. If you're new to the series, I would like to give you a brief rendition of what this story is about, as you might be thinking you know fully what this what if entails, but like I always say, I like to think outside the box when it comes to doing a story that's commonly been done. In this universe, Naruto's father, Minato, instead of getting with Kushina, he instead gets with Hanako Hyuga, that being the woman who would be the mother of both Hinata and Hinabi. As for Kushina, she would catch the eye of Heihachi Hyuga, who is the father of Hinata. Normally in these circumstances, the idea for the story is to change the bloodline of either Minato or Kushina whenever you give Naruto a new dojutsu set like the Sharingan or the Byakugan. But I like to try and switch it up, and by doing so, you switch the pairings of the overall couples. Because of this, Naruto is born as a half Namikaze, half Hyuga, and does not have the nine tails. However, Hinata, who would be half Hyuga, half Uzumaki, does. With that, the dynamic of the story changes in a lot of regards, in terms of Naruto's upbringing and Hinata's as well. How will these changes affect our story as we move into part 3? Will it be for better or will it be for worse? To find out, sit back, relax, and enjoy Naruto Moonlight. What if Naruto was a Hyuga? Part 3. Following their journey to the Land of Waves, Team 7 would continue caring about their duties and missions as they continue to train and grow stronger together as a team, with the Chunin exams that soon loomed upon them. Kakashi would be confident in his team's overall skills and abilities, and despite them being the rookies of even the beginnings, he believed that they would be capable of handling themselves, as Naruto's team would sign up for the Chunin exams. For Naruto and Hinata, they hadn't seen much of Heihachi, at least during what was now approaching the last 6 months. The reason being was that Heihachi had taken some time away, preparing to assume an even greater role and responsibility. Because of this, Hyuga, who was one of the bright talents among the main branch of the Hyuga clan, and being a young man himself, had been groomed for the position of becoming the next leader of the Hyuga clan, at least temporarily until both Naruto and Hinata had come of age. Had oversaw the two's training and was able to gauge how powerful they had become in their just 2 months of active ninja duty. And safe to say, they had made some great progress, especially on Hinata's part. Of course, they had also asked about the questions and the whereabouts of Heihachi, to which would explain that he was taking care of some other business, but they would be seeing him soon enough. Team 7 would go to apply for the Chunin exams, where they would run into the likes of Rock Lee. In this universe, Naruto and Hinata would be aware of who Rock Lee was. After all, he was on the same team as their cousin Neji, and Rock Lee had no ill will towards either of them. Of course, he still had his sights set to challenge Sasuke, but he also would challenge Naruto as well. With Naruto being aware of the rivalry between both Neji and Lee. the fight would go just as how you would have expected. Sasuke would still be beaten by Rock Lee. While Naruto would do just a little bit better, it wouldn't be by much, and he too would suffer defeat as well, with Lee standing over the both of them as the superior, before Guy would come in and stop the fighting from going any further. From there, the teams would progress up to the next stage where the Chunin exams were going to be held. However, there was another change that occurred in this moment. If you remember, in the original story, when Sasuke and Team 7 were making their way up to what was said to be the third floor, there were actually two Chunin posing as Genin who had the floor placed under a Genjutsu, fooling many into believing that the floor they were trying to go to was the third floor, when actually they were on the second floor. With Naruto and Hinata having their Byakugan, they're able to see through the Genjutsu, and they tell Sasuke, who was able to see through it himself. However, before Sasuke can attempt to look cool and show off what he knows to everyone, Naruto and Hinata would advise against it. The reason? This was a test to see who could and who couldn't see through the simplest of deceits. This was a way of weeding out those who were qualified and those who weren't qualified. If Sasuke or either of them were to just blabber out the secret, then that would just give them more unnecessary competition. Thinking it over, Sasuke would realize that they had a point. Anyone who got caught up in something as simple as this wasn't really worthy of being in the Chunin exams. So with that, they would just back away from the crowd, casually making their way up to the real third floor where the rest who had seen through the deceit had managed to reach. Of course, because of this story being Naruto, the 9 rookies would make it through easy enough, along with all the other key players. However, there would be a lesser number of participants than in the original timeline. Out of, say, the 172 that advanced to the first stage of the Chunin exams, now you would have a class of around 130, with a good percentage of the others being forced out and not being able to participate. With that, the first part of the exam would begin, that being the written test. Now, under normal circumstances, Naruto would not do so well in this outcome. However, Naruto was actually raised by a proper family, meaning that a good education was expected of him. Now, does this mean that Naruto was some super genius who could figure everything out? Of course not. Naruto simply had his struggles that he would just always have. But what it does mean is that Naruto is not the bumbling idiot that he was in the original story. Similar to Neji, Naruto could just use his Byakugan, same as Hinata, to simply cheat by looking through other people using their X-ray vision in order to gain the answers that they needed. Of course, it all ultimately would come down to being able to answer the 10th and final question, that being whether or not to accept the 10th or final question. With Naruto still having the guts and the bravado to do so, he, along with both Hinata and Sasuke and the others who stayed, would advance to the second stage of the Chunin exams. Which again, because of the smaller number of participants from the get-go, it means that the number of students who advance to the next stage would be even smaller. And this would just overall be the trickle-down effect that came from a simple decision that was made a little while earlier. Anko Mitarashi would oversee the second part of the Chunin exams, which would be the Forest of Death. Team 7, after receiving their scroll, would make short work of collecting the other scrolls that were needed. Each member of the team were more than strong enough to get a scroll of their own from a weaker team. To start, Team 7 would already have the Heaven Scroll, with Naruto gaining another Heaven Scroll, and with Hinata gaining the Earth Scroll that they needed. With that, Team 7 would look to make their way towards the tower in the center of the Forest of Death. That is until they would come face to face with the likes of a certain grass ninja, who would be looking to take their lives, and would take a Heaven Scroll from Sasuke, using it as leverage against them. Thankfully though, Team 7 was smart enough not to reveal that they technically already had a set, so they could afford to lose that Heaven Scroll. However, they would still have to engage in fight against the Grass Ninja. Team 7 would perform very well in this exchange. Sasuke with his Sharingan now at 2 Tomoe respectively, Naruto and Hinata covering the blind spots with their Byakugan standing back to back. With the combination of the Gentle Fist, Hinata's overall increased strength, and her fury growing with using the power of the Nine Tails, they were actually able to hold their own for a decent amount of time. However, ultimately, they would find themselves outmatched, as the true origins of who they were facing would come to life, that being none other than Orochimaru. Here though, he wouldn't have one target, he would have two: Naruto and Sasuke. Unlike in the original story, Naruto would not have the protection of the Nine Tails, and Sasuke, already having a Sharingan, had already been a coveted prize. To gain both the Sharingan and the Byakugan, especially from a member of the main branch, this was definitely something that Orochimaru would have interest in. Because of that, he would take the time to not only give Sasuke a curse mark, but Naruto as well, the two of them passing out after thriving in pain. Hinata would be the only one able to watch after both of her teammates before Orochimaru would disappear, as he would be hunted down not too long after. Hinata would have to take the chance to protect her teammates, hiding them away and watching over them as she attempted to help them recover. This would still lead to them being confronted by the likes of the Sound Ninja. However, Hinata, being in Sakura's situation, would be much stronger and much more capable. She would be able to take down Ken easily and hold off the likes of both Zaku and Dosu. However, running low on energy and having pushed herself to her limits, Hinata would tap more into the power of the Nine Tails. However, before she would have a chance to use it, a dark aura would emanate from where Naruto and Sasuke were. With Naruto and Sasuke, both of them having the pattern markings of the curse mark branded onto them. The two would make short work of both Dosu and Zaku, with Sasuke not only snapping Zaku's arms, but snapping his neck. And with Naruto, he would take it a step further, as he jabbed his whole arm through Dosu's chest, caving in his lung and heart, killing him. Under normal circumstances, Hinata would be a bit disturbed by this. In fact, she still was. However, she was too tired to actually think of anything else to do. After all, this was the Forest of Death and they were fighting enemies who had come after them and were ready to take their lives. As shinobi, they had to do the same. However, Hinata would pull both her teammates into a hug, causing the both of them to have their curse marks reside. After taking some time to recover, they would learn that they had only lost 2 days worth of time. They still had a whole 2 days to finish the exams, and they still had one set of both a Heaven and an Earth Scroll. Because of that, after recuperating as best they could, they would make their way to the tower as fast as possible. After meeting with the likes of Iruka Sensei, they would go and find Kakashi. Kakashi would be horrified at the news of his team's attack, and more so to deal with both Naruto and Sasuke as they had been branded with a curse mark. Using his training in sealing arts, Kakashi would brand the both of them with the curse mark seal, Orochimaru watching intently from the shadows. Because making it with 2 days to spare, Team 7 would have 2 days to rest, meaning Naruto and Sasuke would be able to come back for the next part of the Chunin exams, and they wouldn't have to sit out. Of course, with the Sound team being killed off and defeated the way that they were, it meant that a new team would have to take their place when it came to the overall prelims of the Chunin exams. In this story, I've decided to go with Team Oboro from the Rain Village, since ultimately they are nothing but fodder ninja who will most likely be fed off to the stronger participants. Then they can serve the role nicely. Kabuto would still drop out as the original, leaving his other two teammates to fight in the exams, with the 20 students pairing off to battle in 10 prelim matches, with the 10 finalists advancing to the official finals of the Chunin exams. In the prelim matches, which have been randomized, since in an alternate universe you wouldn't get the same results as before, these results have been 100% randomized. However, I did construct the finals for specific reasons and pairings. However, the prelims are random and they go as follow. First, Yoroi from Team Kabuto versus Rock Lee. While Yoroi's ability to absorb chakra would make him a dangerous opponent for Rock Lee, especially when it came to close encounters, Lee's overall brutalizing strength and taijutsu is too much for Yoroi to overcome. Lee would win and advance to the finals. Next, Random Rain Ninja number 1 versus Tenten. In this universe, Tenten finally gets a win. Of course, it comes against a fodder ninja, but Tenten gains victory all the same, advancing to the finals. Third, Neji versus Oboro, the leader of the Rain Ninja team. Neji would be stronger, superior, and would gain the victory. Fourth would be Shikamaru versus Sakura. Now, this version of Sakura is a part of Team 8 with both Kiba and Shino, led by Kurenai. So Sakura would have some talent for genjutsu here in this timeline, with Kurenai wanting to see how far she could advance her own genjutsu training. However, Shikamaru is still skilled and smart enough to overcome Sakura in this regard. While it would definitely be difficult, Shikamaru would get the win and advance to the finals. The fifth match would be a conflict of interest, as Kiba and Shino would draw one another into combat. As to who would win this, it's definitely a toss-up in the air. Kiba is no slouch, but neither is Shino. After thinking it over, I ultimately came to the conclusion that at this point in time, out of all three members of Team 8, Shino would definitely be the strongest, at least in terms of physicality and with the use of his insect hive. While I do think it would be difficult and the fight would drag on for a bit, Shino would ultimately get the win over Kiba and would advance to the finals. The sixth match would see Random Rain Ninja number 2 versus Sasuke. Sasuke, who had time to rest and had his curse mark sealed, would have access to his ninjutsu and to his Sharingan. But even still, this would be a pretty easy fight for him, so he advanced to the finals. The seventh match would be Ino versus Gaara. Safe to say, Ino wouldn't stand much of a chance here, and she basically gives up before the fight can even really begin. What really made her give up was when she actually attempted to use the mind transfer jutsu, and Gaara did not move. No, Ino was allowed into Gaara's mind for a brief moment, and what she saw terrified her. It terrified her enough to leave immediately and to quit. Gaara was contemplating whether or not he wanted to snap her neck, but ultimately it didn't matter. She got the point. Ino would be scarred for life, and Gaara would advance to the finals. The next matchup would be Misumi, a member of Team Kabuto, going up against Kankuro. This is actually a matchup from the original timeline, so nothing changes here and Kankuro gets the win. The ninth match would see Naruto versus Choji. Definitely a clash of styles. While Choji using the human bulldozer would definitely be a hard thing to counter, Naruto would find a way to break Choji down, getting the win and advancing to the finals. The 10th match would actually be an interesting dichotomy, with Hinata versus Temari. This match would definitely be one that would go back and forth, and with it being the final match, would definitely be one that could steal the show. While I do think Temari is definitely powerful and capable in her own right, Hinata is just as skilled herself, and training with the likes of Sasuke and Naruto have only added to her confidence. Also, with the aid of the power of the Nine Tails by her side, ultimately I believe she would be strong enough to overcome Temari, who would fight from a distance with her wind-style ninjutsu. While it would be difficult to some degree, I believe once Hinata catches her in the 32 palms 8 trigrams, it would be the end of the fight, with Temari being unable to withstand the flurry of Hinata's assault, so Hinata would get the win and advance to the finals. With that done, we would have 10 final candidates. Now, normally I like to break it down to a bracket, but for this, we're going to do something a bit different. Instead, we're going to get 5 matches straight up. If you know where the story goes, there's no reason to worry about advancing to a next round, but I have set it up so that you will be able to see all of the fights in the series. The first match, Naruto versus Neji. A rematch of the original timeline? Yes. But is this the same Naruto? No. But the dichotomy between the two still stand. The main branch versus the side branch in its purest form. Next, Shikamaru versus Shino. Third, Tenten versus Kankuro. Fourth, Sasuke versus Rock Lee. And fifth, Hinata versus Gaara. The third Hokage would wish all of them luck, as they had 1 month's time to train and prepare their skills, as on the 1st of August, the finals of the Chunin exams would begin. Following this, Kakashi would congratulate all 3 of his students. However, it would be short-lived as representatives of the Hyuga clan would take both Hinata and Naruto away to the Hyuga compound. There, a meeting was being held, and safe to say, it was not for the faint of heart. Ko had only just assumed responsibility as the leader of the Hyuga clan, and now he had to deal with his toughest decision yet. Once news had gotten out about the children being attacked by Orochimaru, the Hyuga clan would be in an uproar. But to make matters worse, Naruto was now branded with the curse mark of Orochimaru. It was clear as day what was happening. The boy was being targeted by the snake Sannin. What were they to do? What could they do? Many were arguing that Naruto should have the curse seal branded onto him. That way Orochimaru couldn't get his hands on the Byakugan. However, Naruto was a part of the main branch, meaning that to do so would be an absolute. And what message would that send to the side branch? If the side branch saw that the main household could just so quickly switch, then could there be more civil unrest? But at the same time, if special treatment was made for Naruto, then that could also serve to the detriment of the Hyuga. Ko had to decide what to do. Currently, the boy had the curse seal, but would that be enough? Could that be enough? They would try to get counsel from the third Hokage. Ultimately, he would give his piece on the matter, believing that they should have faith in Naruto. It wasn't about a lack of faith, it was about being practical. Of course, the third Hokage would bring in someone who was familiar with Orochimaru, that being Anko Mitarashi. Anko would tell what she knew, ultimately believing that Naruto had the willpower to keep the curse mark in check. It could be done. She would even promise to oversee the boy's training over the next month to make sure that he didn't fall to the temptations of Orochimaru. After thinking over all the information, it would be decided Naruto would not be branded with the curse seal. However, his situation would be monitored. Once hearing the news, Naruto to some degree would be relieved, and Hinata would be as well. But of course, this still left the matter of deciding what they were going to do for the next month. Kakashi was going to be training Sasuke, but that still left Naruto and Hinata to look for a sensei themselves. To their surprise, someone would be arriving to the compound, someone who was looking for the both of them. It would be an older man with long silver hair, dressed in green and red. The man would introduce himself as Jiraiya, the Toad Sannin. He would reveal that he was the mentor to the fourth Hokage, Naruto's father. Remember, Naruto does not have the Nine-Tailed Seal inside of him, so that information never had to be hid, so he was allowed to learn it. As for Hinata, she had the protection of the Hyuga clan, so she knew of her status as a Jinchuriki. After meeting with the two of them, Jiraiya would be impressed by their feeling of power, and he would be gravely concerned to hear that his godson had been caught in the clutches of Orochimaru, and wanted to oversee the boy's training. However, he wouldn't be alone in this, as Anko also wanted to offer her expertise in helping the boy as well. Together, both Anko and Jiraiya would work together with Naruto and Hinata. Over the next month, they were going to train to hone their skills, and more so, to harness and control the raging demons that swirled within them. This concludes Naruto Moonlight. What if Naruto was a Hyuga? Part 3. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue Naruto the Last Senju. What if Naruto was adopted by Tsunade? Part 3. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.